And welcome back to AA's Corner, where we are the Circle Hub and we are reviewing the Circle Season 2, Episode 3. My name is AA. You can call me Ashley, but I also want to let you guys know that I am a Pop Tart. No, nobody liked that one.
Okay.
All right, let's introduce the rest of the panelists. And we're going to always start with who's beneath me, which is going to be Skylar. I meant, I meant beneath me on camera.
How you doing? I'm Skylar. I have no funny intro today.
Okay.
Well, that's funny.
All right. Moving right along in our circle, down next to Skylar is Miss Kayla. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey guys, glad to be back. I'm Kayla, still not from the Bronx.
Things didn't change.
Didn't change.
All right. And then last but not least, our favorite panelist, which is April.
Hi, I'm April, and I spread as much love as I can because kindness matters.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So, speaking of kindness matters, this episode starts with a newsfeed update from Bryant. Did you enjoy that message, Mom?
That was my Bryant homage right there. Okay, I'm done.
And can you believe that Lee cried again?
I know, my first notes, Lee crying again.
You guys, look, whenever I was stuck in chat last time, as you guys were talking about that, I can go in my gallery and I have like a bunch of black because I screenshot it, tried to screen record it. But after talking to my loving husband, he told me, like they record all day long. So it really could be like that the producers just like snipped it together. But I don't know. I don't think that Lee's being super genuine. I don't know. I think it's all an act, but isn't it all?
It's all an act. All of it.
Yeah, it's all an act.
I'm an act. You're an
So
act.
Lee, as River, messages the group about how good Bryant was. And I was kind of surprised at his forwardness. I don't know how you guys felt when he asked Savannah and Terralisha if they're good after sending him home.
But did he mean it? Because when I forget who said that was very bold of him to do that. Did he mean it boldly though? Or was it just, hey, how do y'all feel about it? That's how I took it.
That's how I took that as well. I don't think he really like necessarily meant it at that point. I think he also knew that he was on the bottom as well, like that he was pretty close to going home too. And so I don't think he meant it that way. I think that like with the entire episode, a lot of things got spun this time.
But this is where a little bit of drama kind of starts. And I, just like you guys said, I don't think Lee intended for that to happen. And I don't think he was meaning to be anything other than just really curious about how they were doing. But it was pretty forward of a question for Lee to ask, right? Like this is, I think someone says in here about his personality coming out a little bit more, River's personality. So I think this was kind of the start of that. So that's why I was surprised. But in with him asking, so Savannah responds, Terralisha responds, and Savannah comes back with, yes, it was hard, but it was a joint decision, right? So this is kind of starting a little bit of drama here. Was any of you surprised with their responses?
No, not at all.
So then it cuts to, here's Emily with his smooth transitions, which we'll talk about that in a second. But he's like, who is Lance? So Jack doesn't know who Lance is. Emily doesn't know who Lance is.
The younger people don't know. I mean, they really don't know.
Yeah, them youngins, they don't really know about them.
How young is Emily supposed to be?
21.
Oh, okay.
I have my employee at my work, my assistant manager is 21, or he's about to be 21, and I tried to talk to him about Lance, and he had no idea, he didn't know who I was talking about. I was like, Nick, you're even gay and you don't know?
Do you know what that means? That their parents suck. Their
What?
parents did not teach them. That's what that means.
About NSYNC.
About good music in general.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's in like the parenting book on page 37, paragraph 3. Actually, just saying.
You teach them about good music, i.e.,
Good music.
my generational music was passed down to my children.
True. Christmas Eve, we were making dinner, listening to the soundtrack to Dirty Dancing. So,
Yeah.
Classic.
Before we get into the Lance Bass thing, I just got to tell you what I wrote below Lee crying again.
okay.
Chloe's voice. Ugh.
I actually too wrote, really, Chloe? What's NSYNC? Really, Chloe?
I love the fact she spelled it out.
I know. And I spelt it out just like that too in my notes. So,
Yeah.
So then, guys, it's a catfish. It's Lisa, 42-year-old assistant to Lance. So, I don't know if you guys remember, but we took some bets down. So, points. Let me grab my handy dandy marker.
Am I the only one that said he was going to be Lance Bass?
Yes.
You and Marcus. So, points go to Skylar now has 2 points. AA now has 2 points. And Michaela has 1 point.
Good job, Michaela. Good effort.
So, we
I'm on the
knew.
board now, guys.
Well, no, I mean, I had a point. Like, if Lance Bass, the real Lance Bass, was on a reality show, we would have heard about it.
Agreed.
Especially one with a prize like this, which Ashley, I know you probably have this down to talk about later. But, you know, like, especially when there's such a hefty prize at the end of it, like, really, to have celebrities.
Yeah.
So, let's get into that a little bit. So,
But again, we would have heard about it, but it would have been a random news line 2 years ago.
But it would have triggered a memory. Like, it would have triggered, like, hey, I heard something about that. I remember. But, like, no.
Say,
I don't. Mom, I follow NSYNC, okay?
Lance Bass was his favorite.
Lance, my ghost is named after Lance Bass in my attic. So, because he's a little feisty.
I think you talked about your ghost last time, too. Can you
I
please
did.
ask him to join us on the podcast?
He's a little shy. He's a little shy. Yeah.
So then everyone gets invited to brunch with Bass.
Wait,
And
what did Courtney call it? Brunch with bass?
Yeah, brunch
Can-
with Bass. Brunch with Bass. Oh,
Can I just
Bass.
say the circle didn't help a whole lot with the other catfishes, but I feel like they're helping a lot with this one. You know, like throwing that
But-
little touch in there, I would have believed it was Lance Bass if I got brunch, you know?
Yeah, but who's to say Lance didn't throw like 50,000 at them and was like, "Here, make it believable." You know, he's a freaking millionaire.
So I'm sorry, but I think I like jerks. I'm just gonna say this.
you like what?
Jerks. And here's where I'm going with this. Emily just makes me laugh. Jack's comments make me laugh. He's like, brunch with Bass. What about eggs with Emily? Or no eggs with Emily. And I know how we feel a little bit about Jack, but he does make me with his little one-liners.
Okay.
Skylar, I see that.
Playing a
look.
good game. He's strategic.
Oh, Emily's going
Except
home.
for whenever he had some conversations this time, which I'm sure you have written down too.
So they get waffled any way you like them. Did y'all see some of their waffle creations? I guess I'm just basic.
What's that called? Whipped cream all over.
Yeah, it was like a mountain of stuff piled onto one.
So if you was on the circle and you was having brunch with Bass, what question would you ask Lance Bass, thinking it was him?
I could tell you what question I wouldn't ask.
What? Did I miss something?
What question is that? That was a legit question, Skylar.
I'm trying to focus, but you have a flamingo. You have a flamingo in your background.
She keeps going like this.
Just trying to focus because you were talking, and that's all I could see.
I would not ask Lance Bass about what he would do with the 100,000 that he's gonna win.
No.
That was rude. They did not ask that to anybody else.
Very
That
blunt.
was so. What it was Tara Alicia that asked that, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Her rude self.
she's being a little savage. I know I said that about
She's
Savannah
being-
last time with her voting, but she's being like super.
I don't think she's
Like,
being
don't
savage.
get
I think at this point she's just being bold because it's a game. I mean, I think it's gotten to her head now. Like, this is a game. I can say whatever I want to say. They're not going to do anything about it. Let me be
Yeah.
bold. And it's going to get her. It's going to get her in a very bad position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, in reality, every show, any reality show that celebrities go on that win money, they donate it. I mean,
But they don't come out and say, "Hey, I'm going to play this, and if I win, I'm going to donate it." I mean, whose business is that?
from the beginning, that's what they're doing. So I mean, she asking you if you win, are you donating this?
But okay, but to be fair,
Sorry.
to be fair, Lisa's answer, she was like, "I'm gonna go funny."
It was not funny.
That was not funny.
Throw an LOL in there or something. Like,
Yeah.
let them know you're joking.
But
It
she
was-
said she was like, "Well, let me start with the joke." But then literally that was it. Like I thought she
Yeah.
was gonna put like another message or something because I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a
Like
little crazy.
that was like, yes, I get it. Like, oh, a celebrity, let's see if they're gonna donate it. But I felt like that was still rude. I mean, it's not you, regardless if they're a celebrity, regardless if they're famous. If they win, it's their money. They don't have a agenda they have to play by.
So a lot of players. So going back, so Tara Alicia was very blunt by saying, "Are you going to donate this money?"
Mhm.
But she asked the question that everybody was thinking, like, "What do you need? What are you on this show for?
Why are you here?
Why are you here?" So she
But
asked.
But did she ask that? Did she ask, "Why are you here"?
Yeah.
No, she asked, "What you gonna do with
Yes,
the
are you
money?"
No, she asked, are
No.
you going to donate the money?
Right, that's what I'm saying. She didn't
Yeah.
ask, "Why are you here? Why do you want to play?" If it would have been, "Hey, hey, why do you want to play?" or something like that, it would have been a completely different conversation.
To be fair, I think she said it. She might not
She
have
didn't-
messaged it.
She didn't say circle, blah 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 blah.
Right.
So it don't count. You gotta
Why
say,
is
you gotta,
it circle. Are you going to
Yeah.
donate this money?
yeah. I mean, you're playing Simon Says on this show, and I mean,
So a lot of players said, "Ooh, you shouldn't have done that."
that's a bad move. I mean,
Right? But then Lance's response was not taken very well by a few people either.
Yeah.
uh-uh. No.
She's gonna have to up her game for them to believe that he's Lance.
For
Right.
sure. And then, did you guys know that the Circle has a rooftop hot tub?
Yes.
A
I didn't
rooftop,
remember that from season 1.
a rooftop hot tub, a yoga room, and a gym, but they're not all going at the same time?
No, so that was my question, and Sam, who has seen every episode of every season, explained that they probably have certain schedules and the producers are probably walking them from this place to this place, and nobody else can be in this vicinity, and
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
cool.
I
Like
know. I know if there was a brunch at my door and I opened the door to get the brunch, I'd be like, everybody else
yeah,
always.
yeah. And
Hey,
the rooftop hot tub is cool and all, but can we please talk about how Jack's knees? He looked like a little kid sitting in like a little puddle or something.
like like he was in a bucket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we go back to the questions to Lance real quick?
Yeah.
Who was it that asked? Chloe asked, "What's the most embarrassing thing?" And Lance's made up story was, "I split my pants and I had to dance with my ass out." Was it Tara Alicia who called him out and was like, "I don't remember that."
I think it was
Like how big?
Courtney.
Courtney.
How big of a fan are you that you're like, I'm pretty sure I would have noticed Lance's ass.
But Courtney has said that Lance is his favorite. Like was his favorite.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you're gonna lie and she's been his assistant for 24 years or 14. However, it was a good chunk. But don't lie when your entire life.
Lie. You don't hear everything.
But they said it happened on a show during tour.
It could have been a show in BFE, Indiana. In the middle of a rainstorm that 1,000 people was at. You don't know.
I just think she
at the beginning,
a better story.
Yes, she should have. But I'm just saying, you don't know if it didn't happen. Things happen all the time we don't hear of. It could have been their first show they ever did that nobody was at.
I just think that was a bad story, and they're gonna get found out real fast.
Well,
But I do
agree.
think that
That's why she
Courtney
has
was
to
really
up her
funny about that too, because he's like,
Mm-mm. So then up on the rooftop hot tub, Emily privates Trevor, and this is catfisher versus catfisher. I found this little interaction actually pretty enjoyable. So, do you guys have any thoughts on how their interaction went?
Emily screwed up.
Yes.
Emily screwed up 100%. Emily screwed up. You don't talk about sports. You're a girl.
But
You're a 20.
But you're talking
But
to a guy.
you're a 21-year-old sorority girl. You should not know that much about sports. I'm sorry. No 21-year-old female knows that much about sports.
That one person got
Trevor was
injured. You can hear that on the news.
No. And a 21-year-old girl, that's not how their conversation is going to go. When was the last time you talked to a 21-year-old girl, Mom?
How old are y'all?
Exactly. 29.
Did you talk about the notebook that Delisa has that I guess Trevor hooked her up with some notes?
yes. And how was that exact thing in there?
That's
awesome.
Nice.
Well, I'm sure he was like, if you're going to talk about men things, here's some sports, and this is what it's from. You need to know about this team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really cool that was like right there. Like she was able to just go to that notebook. But it even just goes to show like how strategic she is and like in the game that she's playing. They all kind of have a notebook, but not like that.
Yeah. I think Trevor did great in that conversation. I think Emily tanked it.
But so Delisa having that information won Emily over. Emily really thinks that's Trevor, right? But Trevor is on to Emily.
Yes.
And so that was not very good on Emily's part there. But he thinks he's solid. So then it cuts to River, privates Lance. And he's trying so hard not to fangirl.
Yeah.
So how do you guys think this conversation was for River? Was this a good conversation for him?
I don't think it went either way for him. Honestly, I don't think it was like bad, but I don't think it was good. It was just. It seemed like it was just like a side thing.
Yeah, I don't think it was a game playing move.
No,
No,
it was just
but no.
Why are you going to up the person that's just came into the game?
yeah.
He was really
He
excited
seemed
to
to
be the
think,
first one to private message Lance.
Yeah.
Now, Lance was able to gather some good notes just based on the little bit of conversation that we saw with him
Mm-hmm.
and River. So it really worked in Lance's favor. I think that conversation did.
Yeah, definitely.
Then it moves on to Savannah Private's Courtney. So Savannah tells Courtney about Tara Alicia and really kind of spilling the tea. So, do you guys have any thoughts on pros and cons and goods and bads or anything on this conversation here?
It just seemed, and I don't even know if this is the right word, shady to me, the way, and I know we're not seeing the whole conversation because it went from two lines from Savannah to Courtney going, "Oh, I knew it. I knew it. Tell Alicia's this. Tell Alicia's that." And I'm just like, what did we miss? There had to be something else. You know what I mean? It was, to me, just shady of both of them.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
I think that's
this
going to
this
be a good
girl
alliance right
drama.
there.
The what? I didn't hear either one of you.
Skylar?
I love how anytime she wants me to talk, she's just like,
Skylar?
no. I just think that's going to be a good alliance right there. I mean, you got two of the smartest players so far that are going to gang up on one person. I think it's going to be a smart move.
Yeah, so I agree with half of that. I think it'll be a good alliance. I think that the alliance that Courtney and Savannah are working on, that they're both, it's so, I don't know, that'll work. However, I don't know if they're the smartest players in the house. I'm just over the girl drama now. Like, I feel like it was like hashtag, girl gang, and now it's like hashtag, you know, true colors, and it literally did that overnight.
Yeah.
Well, that goes
Well,
And
into
yes, it was super. Yeah, it was super shady on Savannah's part. And that's exactly so. And Savannah going into it was like, if she's gonna do this to me, I'm gonna, let me just turn around and see who can be on my team. And she immediately threw like Emily and Chloe, Emily and Chloe, she kind of just threw out. She didn't really give them a chance. Didn't have enough conversation with them to really get to judge that. I think. I don't
I
think she
mean,
was
I
ever
think, I
really
think,
girl gang.
no, I think Savannah was against Chloe kind of from the beginning because of the whole Trevor thing, right? So that immediately put Chloe out, and then Emily being best friends with Chloe, which shows she was, why are you going to try to have somebody on your alliance that you already know is good friends with one person you really don't want?
where does it show that Emily and Chloe's close in the last two episodes?
Yeah, up into yeah.
I, I didn't see any of that until they played the game that I'm sure we're going to talk about later.
Yeah, I'm with you.
We do not.
And that was Marcus.
Sorry about that.
We have flamingos and teenage boys.
So here's my thoughts. We saw the connection that Savannah and Courtney had. It was that kind of, oh my God connection, right? And so I think Savannah, I really think she's genuine in how she feels about Courtney being like her kind of number one. And so I I know after she told him, she's like, well, his response is going to tell me where I sit with him. And so the fact that he responded in a positive way towards her just made her feel like, yes, I have somebody on my side. But my question is, how is Savannah privating Courtney any different than Tara Alicia privating Emily and Chloe? in the
It's
next
not.
Yeah.
conversation.
It's not any different, but I don't think Teralicia, in my opinion, went straight after Savannah. Like from what we saw, Savannah went straight into dishing on Teralicia, or Teralicia didn't do that. She let them.
Well, I
It kind
mean,
of all started
regardless
with
of
that.
how it came out,
I'm just, I'm just saying
Yeah,
this is what we saw.
and I think it all started like with that chat where Tara Alicia made sure to mention, like that because she was so, bent on making sure people knew she wasn't the reason, that that Bryant left, that so I think it all really stemmed from that one chat that has just now Savannah went on the defense and she's like, oh well, she's gonna put me out there like that. I mean, hell no, that's not happening to me. And so then it just kind of fueled it from there. They're both being super shady. Tara Alicia's being super bold, which it could put you in a good spot, but honestly, everybody's eyes are going to be on you. So
Now, I think it was smart of Teralicia to chat with both of them, where Savannah only chatted with Courtney.
well,
So you still
but they already
in a
had the
girl
whole
thing.
girls. Yeah,
Yeah.
they already had that connection. Whereas Savannah, she's having to start completely over. So she's having to feel, oh, which one of these people can
But
I start over with?
but did she have to start completely over? She couldn't have went to Emily and Chloe.
that would have been smarter.
Chloe.
I don't think so because of the whole Chloe situation. I mean, if I was in Savannah's shoes, I would have done the exact same thing she did. I would have went to the exact same person she did. I would have not have even attempted to go to Chloe and Emily because what are you going to do? With Chloe, you have to patch up whatever went down, and then you have to try to get them to go against Teralicia. It was too much work compared to just going to Courtney and seeing how it was.
So Teralicia is talking, and she's talking about how Savannah isn't hashtag girl gang, and Chloe immediately starts off with, we need to start talking strategy here, right? So can we talk strategy for a minute? So Teralicia obviously has Emily and Chloe with her, right? And Savannah has Courtney. Can Savannah somehow grab Trevor? River goes to Teralicia. That's his big sis. So, who does Savannah need strategically to make sure she's getting kind of on her side?
I feel like
And
Well, who was it that Trevor talked to last week? Um,
he had
was that Savannah?
Savannah.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah. She's going to be able to have Courtney. She's going to be able to have Trevor. I think she honestly needs to go ahead and get Lance on her side. And I mean, and then from there, stem from Lance and scoot River over, and you're going to be golden.
But is Trevor going to go on that fake date with Chloe and Chloe pull him?
No.
Yeah, I think Savannah. It would be a good move for Savannah to definitely go for Trevor next, just because they had that kind of heart to heart moment, which Trevor's been doing with everybody. He really knows, or she knows, to go for the emotions. However, I think with Lance, it's kind of too hard to tell like right now because she's not. I mean, or he's not really playing too much. Really, I mean, they're here and they pop in. But one thing that so like with Savannah, her and Chloe are not talking, and Chloe and Emily are close, and so I think Terry Leisha teaming up with Chloe and Emily, it may not have been the best move for her. I think it was good, instantly because she's going for the numbers, but everybody as they find out is Chloe and Emily are pretty close, so
Supposedly, right?
right.
All right. So they get an alert, 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 alert. And it's time for the Circle Fest. Where do they come up with this? I guess it's, what else are they going to do?
You're having to entertain adults in a hotel room. I mean,
How'd you guys think about the costumes?
Some of them was cool. Some of them was not.
I don't know why I expected Lance to do a lot better job than just a pair of sweats.
And why did they put River/Lee in a
hippie costume? Because of Brian.
That was Brian's box.
they weren't expecting Brian to be gone so soon, so they had to reuse it.
So then they get to go to a game, Truth or Dare. And
Wait, I thought it was gonna have a circle fest.
Oh yeah, we're gonna take 30 seconds, maybe not 30 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. We're all gonna have our own circle fest right now. So everybody just start dancing to the music. Ready?
To the music.
This is how I felt watching Circle Fest on the show. I was just like, okay.
Swimming through all that tea.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, so let's get into Truth or Dare. So it starts with River. Would you expect River to do anything other than a truth?
No.
So who will be the next influencer? Thoughts on his response?
It was a safe response, I think.
Yeah, very safe.
Yeah.
I think if he would have chosen Savannah or Tara Alicia, he would have chosen a side right then. So you don't do that. You don't choose the new person. So.
Yeah.
So I do have questions about that. So I'm going to circle back to River because we're going to go to Courtney. And Courtney does a dare because he does not want to give any information about his thoughts. So his dare was to put on as many layers of clothing as you can in 2 minutes.
But the host had a point that entire time. What the other people cannot see you? Why do you feel like you have to do it anyway? Just do it. Like, just say you did it.
I bet he would have gotten away with that too. Like, he could have just been like, "Oh, I put on 20 shirts."
Yeah, it was probably fun, and he probably had fun doing it. But during the show, you see him struggling, and then the host is like, "You didn't really have to do it. You could have just said you did it."
Well, what does that say about Courtney?
He's easily
smart.
amused.
I think he's playing a really smart game.
And he's wanting to have fun at it, Why not go do it?
And also, how's the circle going to give him the easiest one?
He chose dare. I mean, the hardest is the truth.
Yes.
Well, even the next dare was a dare, but it was still something strategic.
True. Because Emily goes next, and Emily decides to do a dare and wants to send an emoji to a BFF. And chooses to send it to Chloe. So, Chloe's response. I just want to hear y'all's thoughts on, was that a smart move for Emily? And how does this now work on Emily's probability of being the next influencer?
I mean, she could have just sent an emoji. I mean, like, all that extra, they didn't say, "Hey, send an emoji," and also, let's say that you're really close allies and just give this person a huge compliment on top of it. They literally just said, "Send an emoji." If she would have just stuck to that, I think she would have been fine. But then Chloe responds and is like, "Oh, you and me till the end, babes."
You just threw your entire alliance out for everybody to see. And now they know, like, oh, I want Emily, I'm going to have to go after Chloe first.
I just want you guys to know, I did not choose my players. Just the Will hates me. Okay.
We gave you two chances there.
But okay, even Emily. So Emily at first, when like with River saying Emily could be the next influence, it was like, okay, this is good. This could be good. But then when Jack responded, and then when he saw Chloe's response, he was like, not good. I did not. You did not need to say that, right? So does this possibly hurt Chloe's relationship with Emily? Because do you think
Yes.
now he's going to want to kind of separate himself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think at this point in the game, Jack is going to be seeing like this is not helping me. I gotta go a different direction.
And I think he's smart enough to know that.
Oh yeah, no, he's smart. Yeah, he's
Some
smart
of
enough to
them may not
know.
be that smart to know that.
So let's go back to thinking strategically. Is Jack smart enough to play the double agent card with Savannah?
No, he can barely keep up with trying to pretend to be a girl.
I think he's doing a good job because he's getting things started and just sitting back and listening and taking it all.
But that's not. I'm sorry, but that's not what girls do. Girls always have an opinion. And at some point, somebody's gonna call Emily out and say, "Emily, you're being way too quiet about this."
Well, my opinion on that was funny.
Yeah, told you.
Is you're correct.
At some point, because I mean, think about it. If you were to have 4 girls, is that how many girls there are? 1, 2, 3 girls, 4 girls, whatever, right? Going at each other's throats, and one is silent. They're gonna be like, "Emily, what do you have to say? Whose side are you on? Why are you being so quiet?" You know, it's gonna go into his face, and he can barely be a girl. So what makes you think he can be a secret agent?
I don't know. Who has Emily? Michelle? Michaela? Where did I get Michelle from?
Yeah.
I literally was looking at my boys. Okay.
Yeah. I have MS.
Well, I think this could have inadvertently helped Emily and possibly helped me. This is my thought. I'm speaking.
I think that's probably the pro to being so quiet. I think I'm with Skylar. In the long term, that's not going to work out because eventually people are going to notice. But right now, off with it, we're just 3 episodes. I think it's very smart to kind of, stir the pot a little bit, figure out who's going to, switch sides so easily and then just sit back. Just like with the girl chat conversation with Savannah, Emily, and Chloe, literally all Emily did was say like something at the very beginning and then something at the end, like glad we can clear it up. So in that sense, I think right now it's working in her favor. But yeah.
But was that on purpose, or was that like? Because if you go back to that conversation, no. Listen, when you go back to that conversation, Emily did not. I don't think they played that conversation off as a female either, though, because she did not vent to me. She was like, no, go to the source. Like,
well, I think Chloe. Because they had agreed that they were both confused about Savannah's decision, right?
Right.
And so then Chloe, she was like, you're asking me the same question, and then Chloe's like, well, maybe we should talk about it, and then they bring Savannah in at least, but yeah, I think it's smart.
But is he being smart on purpose? Is my question, or is he doing what he thinks the CMO would do?
So in that scenario, I don't think he started that out on purpose. I don't think he meant for for her to bring Savannah in. But I think the way he handled it was like super smart. He's able to pivot and switch it up pretty quickly when needed.
Okay. So then it's Terralisha's turn, and she chooses a truth. Even though somebody thought that she wouldn't do that.
What was Savannah?
Yeah, Savannah thought she wasn't going to do that.
Savannah was like, no, she can't. She ain't going to do no truth. She's too scared.
And she did it. So her question was, who do you think is the biggest game player in the circle? Now, this is where I think the producers are for sure setting this up.
They need a little spice.
So,
They definitely need some spice.
Tara Alicia gives a one-word answer. One word. And then my next word I wrote down when I was writing my notes was wowza. So much shade. So, thoughts on Tara Alicia's answer of Savannah?
Who else was she gonna say?
But is that necessarily a bad thing too? I mean,
No. Being
like
a game
they,
player, it's a game.
yeah. I mean, they're all like, oh my god, she's throwing shade at her and can't believe she did that. But you're literally signed up to play a game.
But if you were labeled as the biggest game player, then, like Savannah says, that automatically makes you the biggest threat, the biggest target. So people are.
I mean,
that was why people rated Bryant so low.
yeah.
That strategically, and so this really does set Savannah up for people to start thinking about, okay, and that's exactly what Savannah says. Like, am I the biggest game player, or am I your biggest threat?
But I feel like everybody, because I feel like everybody already thought that though, because of Bryant going home and then Terlisha throwing the shade earlier, and then Chloe and Emily already know she's being a game player. You know, she's being a threat, and Courtney knows she's trying to be a threat. Like, it's already known. I mean, it shouldn't.
Well, that's the point. Who else? If everybody knows that's what she's gonna say, who else is she gonna say?
Exactly. That's what
Brian.
I'm saying. It shouldn't have been a
said
shock.
Brian.
You know what? She should have said Lance. She should have said Lance.
Could you imagine if she said Lance?
And Lance is like, I've only said hello and given you brunch. How am I the biggest game player?
And told you I wasn't donating the money.
I just want to go on tour.
I'm gonna fund the next tour. Okay. So it got a little snippy though between Tara Alicia and Savannah. Like, Savannah was like pumped up, revving her arms, jumping on the couch, like ready to go. But I don't know that I blame her.
But she wouldn't have done that in Terlicia's face. She only did that because she was alone.
Behind a computer screen.
Exactly. You keyboard warrior.
I love how Courtney was like still hyping her up. He's like, drag her, get her. Like, nobody was hyping Tara Alicia up.
I have Courtney and I'm over him. That's all I gotta say.
Let's
I'll
trade. Can we do trades?
I'll take Courtney, you take Lance.
Okay,
I
first
want
off,
Lance. I'll keep Courtney.
I'll trade you Courtney for Chloe.
Oh no. No.
Oh, look, there's my friend. Okay. So then it goes to Savannah. And Savannah chooses a crew. And her question is, which player do you trust the least?
Again, who else is she gonna say?
Lance. Just
that
use
was
Lance
the
as the
safest,
scapegoat.
her answer was the safest answer because everybody just has been witnessing Tara Alicia, say things about and to Savannah. So, I mean, everybody already expected her to say Tara Alicia. So,
Yeah.
Wait a minute, did she say Tara Alicia?
I thought the episode ended.
Yeah, okay. I was like, did I not finish it?
But
Lance, she hasn't said Tara Alicia? In my head, she said Tara Alicia.
In my head, she did too. But I'm like, did she?
But she could be throwing a curveball and throwing in somebody else. She might say Chloe.
she's gonna say Chloe. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I feel like at this point, I mean, we're 3 episodes in. I don't know how long, like, in their heads they're there. Like, in my head, they're only going a week, so I have no idea how that game plays. But 3 episodes in, and Savannah is already like, you know what? Let's get to the point. Let's
So
go.
is she going to be over the whole, everybody's going to expect me to choose Tara Alicia, so I'm going to choose Chloe?
Maybe.
Not like
But
right
at
now.
this,
I think it's way too soon.
No, why though? Why would it be too
Up
soon?
right now to choose anybody other than Tara Alicia?
But is she going to be able to calm herself down and say, you know what? Let me play the game because she called me a game player?
No, and that's where they're making so many mistakes. Is once you start letting your emotions come in, like you're getting so heated about this that you're just making, blunt responses instead of
That's what
taking
I'm
a step
saying.
back and seeing that. So she's gonna just
That's
say
what I'm
Tara
saying.
Alicia.
You don't
But
know that.
strategically, the smart move is to say Tara Alicia.
Well,
Because
let's say
you
your
mentioned
predictions.
anybody else's name. If you mention anybody else's name, you just made another enemy. So unless
Chloe,
it's
they're already enemies. They're already enemies, though.
unless it's Chloe, but Chloe, like Savannah and Chloe, have not like said words to make them say like me and you got beat. It's all between what Chloe and Tara Alicia have said and what Savannah has said.
Wait,
Look,
what was the question
look.
exactly again?
Who was the?
Who do you trust the least?
Yeah. And I would say she
I think
could
she's
say
gonna
Chloe.
say Tara Alicia, but if she doesn't say Tara Alicia, she would say Chloe.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not. I'm going with Chloe.
Can that be a thing? So he can lose.
Yeah, that's
I'm
our
sorry,
choice.
ma'am. I already have 2 points.
I'm going with Tara Alicia.
Michaela's trying to catch up, so she needs you to lose. Okay, Tara.
I'm just saying strategically, right? And you say like they've never had words to make them like it doesn't matter, Like
I mean,
if somebody
is the only reason they're against each other is because of Trevor?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's because of Chloe. Chloe and her just love life, okay?
Hey, who you saying?
I'm going with Tara Alicia.
All right.
Michaela?
Tara Alicia. Can I have a backup though? She doesn't say Tara.
Can I say Chloe just in case?
Can you just put like a slash?
I'm going with, you ready for my answer?
It's gonna be Chloe.
Someone in the circle.
Oh my gosh.
Did you make a square?
It like starts out as a square and then comes down. That's mom's heart.
I'm just saying that if I don't like someone, I don't have to have no words with that person.
So are you saying Chloe then? You said Chloe.
What?
Skylar.
What?
Yeah. I wrote down Chloe, that's it.
No, yeah, I'm going with Chloe. I'm going with Chloe.
Do you think she trusts Chloe the least?
Yeah. I think that she's strategically going to say somebody else's name, and the only other name she's going to say that she could say is Chloe.
But
I think she's going to...
But then that turns around and proves Tara Alicia's point. And she doesn't...
Does it matter?
Tara Alicia's point. Yes.
It's already out there. No, it's already out there. It's already out there.
Now she's got to do damage control. She needs
No,
to
she
calm
ain't.
herself down and do damage control.
She's not going to do damage control.
I think
Everyone
she
needs to go just sit in that hot
She's a
tub.
woman.
Chill in the hot
With
tub.
her knees up.
She's short, so I'm sure she would be fine. All right. Well, that's all for this episode. We've got some bets on the line. We'll award some more points on Thursday. And we're going to do Thursday at 8 o'clock. We'll be here to talk about episode 4.
I will not be here on Thursday's podcast.
All right. Well, we will miss you. Check out our Our,
Thank you for the fake tears, Mom.
You have to be here for your points, or they get awarded to the youngest sister.
Oh, so actually, your 1 point you had it goes away then. So I mean,
I mean, that just started though, like today.
Yeah, okay.
I just
okay,
have
got
to
you.
say that if you're watching, subscribe, like, and give us comments.
And vote for your favorite podcast panelist.
Your favorite panelist will
No.
be yes, your favorite panelist will be known every week on who the favorite panelist was for this week. Who did you agree with the most? Who has better ideas?
Remember, I spread as much love as I can, and kindness matters.
Mama, I wasn't a big fan of Bryant's.
Well, I'm Mariah Carey, not really Kayla, so vote for me.
We'll go back into hiding until next Christmas, okay?
Oh,
Yeah, it's time to hibernate.
all right, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Peace, love, and happiness.
See ya.
Bye bye.